Today is 4th of July, a very important day for the United States of America. And in this video, we are going to talk about a super important document that every English learner should read and understand. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I read the sentence for the first time in English and I didn't fully understand it. The history, the moment, and the people who wrote this, knowing that it could cost them everything. And that's when I realized something that changed how I learn English. Most English courses teach you grammar, vocabulary, which is important, but they forget to teach something even more important, something that native speakers carry inside them without even knowing it: the culture, the history of the language they speak. Language doesn't exist without these things. It lives inside a culture. And if you really want to speak American English, you need to understand the culture and the history behind this language. You need to understand the world that created it. A group of men sat down and wrote something that had never been written before. They didn't just declare independence from Britain. They declare a new way of thinking about human beings, that people have rights not given by kings or governments, but rights they are simply born with: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. 3 words that every American grew up hearing, 3 words that shaped an entire culture. When you understand where those values come from, you start to understand why English sounds the way it sounds, why Americans speak with confidence, why they say what they mean, why they believe in the individual voice. That's not just history. That's the personality of the language living inside its people. A few years later, this man wrote something else: the Constitution of the United States, the rule book for a brand new country that had never existed before. And what's fascinating about this document for an English learner is how carefully every single word was chosen. These weren't people writing quickly. These were people writing for centuries. They knew this document would outlive them. Every word carries weight. Every sentence was rewritten and fought for. Reading the Constitution as an English learner is like knowing the language and seeing the language at its most intentional, its most powerful. It shows what English can do when it's used with absolute precision and purpose. And it teaches you that words have consequences. The language is not just communication. Language is power. So what does any of this have to do with speaking English better? Well, everything. When you connect with the culture of a language, something changes inside you. The language stops being a set of rules you have to follow, and it starts being a world you want to enter. And that shift from obligation to curiosity, it's what separates English learners who spend their whole life studying the language from English learners who actually use the language. I noticed this in myself. The more I understood about America, its history, its contradictions, its dreams, the more I felt connected to the language. And here's something that nobody says about learning a new language: motivation isn't enough. It's good, but isn't enough. You need to fall a little bit in love with the world the language comes from. And it's very hard to fall in love with grammar rules, right? But with culture, history, with a story about a group of people who sat down and tried to imagine a better world and wrote it down in English. That's something you can definitely fall in love with. When English stops being an obligation, a burden, and it became a story you want to be part of, it gives you a reason to speak that goes beyond passing a test or getting a new job. So my challenge for you today is to choose one piece of the American history and go deep into it. That's the right moment to read the Declaration of Independence of the United States and also the Constitution of the United States. We have a lot to learn with them. Why their country is so incredible, why they have so much freedom, and how we can apply this in our lives no matter where we live. Read these documents with intention, not to study English, but to understand the words, to feel them. And my indication for you when it comes to movies is the movie The Patriot, which is incredible to learn more about the history of the United States and everything behind the freedom they enjoy today and what it costed. There is a document on Kindle where you can read the Constitution of the United States of America. This is where I read it. It also has the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights. It's a very interesting ebook to read and understand more about the American history. Remember, language is never just language. It's the story of the people who speak it. Happy 4th of July. I hope you liked this video and see you in the next one.